You were sitting alone at the table, a swirling miasma of yellow, blue, and red polka dots pressed against the white sheet wrapped around it. Pretty balloons bob up and down against the currents of a ceiling fan. One stammers, then falls against the beige wall. You were sure that someone would come to celebrate. Someone must have, or else where would these presents have come from? You reach across the table, wrapping the small white and red gifts in your arms before dumping them in front of you. Within each one, you hear the chattering of bated expectation. Clumsily, you begin to tear away at the wrapping paper. There are 5 people at this party. Your dad was not allowed to attend, and her mom was not allowed to attend. So, you're stuck with your mom and her boyfriend. He doesn't like you, and she's stuck with her dad and his girlfriend, and she doesn't like her. Your brother noisily eats the shared cake, chewing with the front of his mouth wide open. You and her share a birthday. You are almost step-siblings, though this doesn't last, and her dad and your mom are insistent that you two should date. It's cliché, but it makes your mouth fill with bile. Girls are gross, girls are gross. Dimly unaware of the deeper implications at the pit of your stomach. Unable to eat another bite, it's too sweet for me. You look mournfully at the mermaid underneath your age, and you lean back, taking in the sun. You don't quite remember what she's doing, but her eyes are unfocused and hazy. She doesn't want to be here just as much as you don't. What you wish would happen is this. You get to sleep all day and be left alone, and never have to live up to the pressures of being the oldest son. You know now that you are only a footnote in her life, as she was in yours, but the memory twists your stomach to this day, and you wonder if she ever thinks back to this birthday and feels as though it was wasted. You wonder if she's had a good birthday yet, or if she didn't even like this one. Maybe she had fun. Maybe you were a good enough actor. Maybe it wasn't as bad. Maybe things would have been better if you had just played along. But you were a little boy then, and you couldn't save yourself if you tried. There are 4 people at this party. Your mom and dad sit on opposite sides of the table, a big bowl of ice cream in front of everyone. Your little brother slurps noisily, and everything for once is calm. You lick the chocolate with strawberry syrup, and look around the room, and the realization hits that no one has said anything at all. They did not wake you early or shower you with toys. A birthday wish was not offered. Only a spoonful of sugar and a smile and nod is what you have been granted. The only sound outside the mouth is buzzing of the flies, and beneath the lowering sun you realize the walls are dented and stuffed with grime. The extent to which you are helpless fully sets in, so you bow your head to cry out in dread and hope. When you look up, something will be different. The scene is dark and the stars are out. A mocking breeze comes through. Your mom and dad are yelling now. Things are back to usual. There are 3 people at this party. Your dad set up a funny tent in the asphalt backyard. It was white and long with forest fires at each corner and a drape that you could pull back. Inside the tent, you forgot what it's really called. There's a blue carpet with red lobsters and a blue plastic table. There's a pizza and a big cake, and all around the table, your best friend who will leave you because his girlfriend asked him to. Your other best friend who will never stick up for you. Your crush who will cry today because she thinks that Hawaii 5-0 will get canceled. And you, smiling distantly. Conversation becomes tense despite your best efforts, and in silence they stare at their phones while eating the pizza that your dad ordered. But there's a quaintness and kindness to be beneath a tent on a cool summer night. No bugs are swarming you, and the land is filled with purple light. Someone finds a funny meme, and you pass around their phone to laugh. Tonight was okay. There are too many people at this party. The first thing X says when X walks in the door is, "I don't like you. I don't want to be here. I'm only here because my mom wants me to go out tonight." And you laugh to hide the discomfort and hurt. Shrug your shoulders and say, "Yeah, it's fine, I get it." Because who would want to come to your birthday anyway? The other guests arrive, crowding your house, eating your food, taking the little balloons that you put up ironically, popping them and sticking them in your bathtub. Your best friend, who will leave you because his girlfriend asked him to, brings you some brownies in a warm tinfoil wrap. It's the only present that you've gotten. "Thank you so much." He smiles distantly back at you. You put it on the table and your guests devour it before you could even get a piece. X sits in the back on their phone the entire time, scrolling aimlessly through the same 3 apps. You two aren't that close, and in fact you remember, you didn't even invite X. You're confounded, but there's barely time to think. When 6 people say that they're gonna get up and go across the street and hang out with their cooler friend for a bit. Okay, and you're left with 2 friends. The loner in the back, 2 freaks who are trying to hide that they're making out, and 2 guys popping balloons and sticking them to the inside of your bathtub. This is fine, it's all fine. The loner X gets up, takes a look around and steps out the front door, walking out without saying goodbye. You meekly wave out of politeness, but X is gone, and this is about to cause a mess of problems. The others you invited return from their friend's house, smiling and laughing and skipping because they had so much fun. And then they sit down and look at their phones dumbly and wide-eyed. Your 2 friends are talking to each other. You sit alone on the couch in front of the TV, staring into the darkness of the screen. You wonder why anyone would come to your birthday anyway. And then, a flash of light, your friend is getting a phone call. He looks at you with such intense disgust that you're already formulating apologies. X, disassociated all the way home. He begins as he sets the phone down and you didn't even do anything about it. You're taken aback. "What, is X okay?" "Yeah, X made it home safe," he says curtly. And now you're wondering what you were supposed to do, or what he was actually upset about, when a debate around the whole thing breaks out. The only thing that any of them agree on is that it's your fault, and that you should have noticed and should have helped, while you fruitlessly try to explain that there's nothing you could have done. And finally, finding your other friend sticks up for you and says, "That's not how disassociation works. It sounds more like X was drugged and then turns to you expectantly." It doesn't take long for everyone to pack their things. There is one person at this party. The architecture of your apartment is hostile, sculpted from the corpse of a suburban home. It is 2 stories of narrow twisting hallways and long winding stairs, and sinking and creaking floorboards which make stealth impossible. But today there's no need to worry. You are completely alone. Your father is working and your brother has disappeared, and there's no one to call over for now. You are sitting in bed, posting yourself to an invisible camera. A long black skirt and thigh-high socks clad your body. A loose-fitting white shirt and a black cardigan gifted to you kindly by your boyfriend, who had no use for them anymore. In occasional moments of bravery, you lift yourself and traverse the cold halls, staying briefly to stare out the window at the darkening skies. The houses are so close together that you can look down and straight into your neighbor's window. You wish you could see a little bit more of the sky, but nothing can be perfect. He promised your next birthday would be really, really special. You love him, so you clutch your cardigan, and the door just below you swings open with a thud. The party is today. The countdown resumes. How many years left do you have? How many months do you have? How many weeks do you have? How many days do you have? And how many now? How many? And was it all just wasted time? The ticking passage is punctuated by the popping of balloons, the tightening wireframe, the bright red, yellow, blue. It grows sharper and darker and grows steadily thinner, filing off the edges as it moves downwards, like the steady wear of time on bones. And no matter how much you fight and kick and yell and scream, and scream and scream and scream, scream until my voice grows coarse, I can't keep pretending that these aren't presents for myself. The wrapping paper is discarded now, covering the floor haphazardly. The party passes like a silent funeral march, and the beige walls become impossibly long. I wrap a balloon around my wrist for the novelty of it and stand, pushing the folding chair noisily across the wooden floor. I wince, that will leave a scratch, but what's done is done and nothing can be perfect. I swerve around the polka dot patterned table, the only table, and make my way to the door. Beside it is a ticket booth, brown and stained, but behind the smeared glass, there is no one. I grip the handle set, pressing on the latch and pushing it outward, into